on them program.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in today. Today I wanted to talk about something that is a little bit heavier than really any topic that I've done, but I've given it a lot of thought, and I had decided that I am finally going to do a video on this. So I know that some of you may kind of have had an idea that it's been a little bit of a rough month, a rough few weeks, if you will. So basically what happened is about 2 weeks ago, one of our friends, she took her own life due to losing a long battle with depression. So obviously it's been a really difficult month, but this struck a chord with me personally as well. And I know that, of course, you know, I'm not the first person who has lost somebody to this, and sadly I won't be the last. But it kind of put me in a position where I feel like I should probably talk about this now. And with this job, it allows me to reach a lot more people than you would on a regular day-to-day basis. So I feel like if I won't talk about this, and if I refuse to talk about this, really, who will? So the reason that I've been struggling to do this video is because this is something that I never really wanted to share with anybody other than the few people that know, and obviously not with the whole world on the internet. But one of the biggest reasons that I didn't want to talk about this is because I felt that it made me vulnerable, and then it almost lessened my credibility as a coach. And I'm sort of ashamed to say that, because if I think that, how would I expect anybody else, my clients, anybody else going through this, to be able to, you know, deal with things like this, to deal with these types of issues, with these types of disorders, if you will. I hate saying that. So basically, I personally suffer from anxiety, and I've had quite a few spells of depression when I was younger that I was able to work through. But I would say that anxiety is something that has stuck with me throughout my whole life, and it just doesn't seem to kick it. There are good days and there are bad days, of course, as with anything else, but lately it has been terrible. So I wanted to talk about this with you guys, because being a lifestyle coach, I deal with people's everyday issues, not just their diet. We talk about everything and anything, and these are things that constantly come up, and I know a lot of my clients are struggling right now, and I know a lot of people in the world are struggling right now, and I wanted to talk about this because I wanted people to know that you're not alone. And I know that we say that all the time, and of course you're not alone, but in that moment when you are going through this, you feel like you're alone. And a couple of weeks ago when this happened with our friend, I went back and I was looking through her Facebook page and looking for answers and trying to figure things out, and looking, you know, for things that may have given us a clue. And I mean, did I find some things? Yes, but hindsight's 20/20, right? So could those have been a cry for help? Maybe. Are those just ways that we talk about now in our day-to-day society? Yeah. And this is where social media is one of those things that it's just so shitty. And I know that my job depends on this, but there's no other way to say it other than it has completely made us antisocial. I know that personally I am super social and on social media. It's my job, and I talk to a lot more people than I would on a day-to-day basis. But if I see those people out in public, I duck my head and I hide. And not because I don't want to talk to that person, because I am one of those people that is just honestly anxious in public, and I don't have, you know, the confidence or the tolerance, if that's the right word, to go up and talk to everybody and anybody. And I know this sounds completely crazy because this is basically my job. But I have learned to deal with it, and I have built some great coping strategies that right now just don't seem to be working. So I figure it's probably a good time to be vulnerable and be honest about this. So like I was saying, I feel like social media has kind of ruined us because it makes us like feel like we have somebody to talk to, and yet we're completely alone. When we're struggling, we post these statuses about how difficult our day is, and all these people reach out to us, and you read it and you're like, oh great, how nice, but you don't really take it to heart. You don't, when somebody walks up to you in person and gives you a compliment, it really means something to you. But when somebody writes, oh, looking good, looking beautiful on your photo, it really doesn't have an impact. And maybe this is just me. I'm talking from personal experience. I'm not, I don't know what you guys feel or how you think, but that's how I feel. And I feel like that is what social media has done. It has removed the real part of being a human. It has removed the things that human beings do really depend on, which is companionship and being social. And being social is not being social on social media. And if you are somebody who is going through this and who suffers from anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, whatever you may be going through right now, if you lost a friend, if life is hard, if you lost your job, if you are somebody that's going through this, reach out to your friends and to your family, give them a phone call, go to their house, invite them over to your house. Do not do this through social media because you will not find that fulfillment that you need. You're not going to get that social contact of a human being that you need by posting it on social media. And the unfortunate thing is people, may leave you a comment and may like the comment and think, oh, poor person, so on, and move on and never think about it again because we're so programmed to scroll past these things without paying any attention or giving it any sort of emotional time or value. We become desensitized. We see these photos, of dogs being killed and tortured and beaten, and what is there to do? You learn to remove yourself from this on social media, and sadly that's what we've done when it comes to our relationships with the people that we really care about. And from a personal perspective, I will tell you that when I'm going through a really bad time, that I am the worst for this, and I completely remove myself, and I'll be getting text messages from family and friends and people who genuinely care and who you have real relationships with, and I will ignore them. I will not write back to those people. I will not call those people, but I'll post on social media and I will reply to people on social media because I don't feel like I have to, be vulnerable there, and I don't feel like I have to say what's really going on, say how I really feel, whereas when it comes to people who know you, they know you. They'll call you on your bullshit, right? So that's just something that I've personally experienced, that I've personally dealt with, that I thought that I should make a video about this. Now this may seem like it's pointless and you may have absolutely zero use of this video, or you may be a person who is going through this right now and you need to hear this as well. If you suffer from anything like this, or even if your life is just hard right now because the economy is bad and you lost your job and you have a family to feed and life is tough, there are always going to be good days and bad days, and you are allowed to have bad days. And I think often we punish ourselves for having these bad days, and especially if you are somebody who suffers from anxiety, you almost pretend to be a lot stronger than you are. And I think it's ironic because I know a few people who are also coaches and do similar work to what I do, or teachers even, who suffer from this as well. And I think sometimes we want to remove ourselves from our problems so badly and from our own reality of dealing with things that we're inclined to help other people, that we want to help other people, or maybe we know that those other people are also experiencing what we're experiencing, so we're very eager to jump on that train and to help them and help them deal through their problems, and yet we put ours aside, we don't think about it, you put that in a little box and you put it away and you just pretend like it's going to go away, and it doesn't, and it builds and builds and builds until the lid of that box comes off. And you know what, that happens, and that is a cycle. And for me personally, it comes and it goes, and I have long periods of time where I'm a completely functioning human being, if you will, and I don't feel the wrath of this, but recently the combination of having hypothyroid, which is very difficult mentally, way more so than physically, and I will tell you guys that, and I've told you guys in previous videos that the biggest issues that I've had with my hypothyroid personally are completely mental and emotional. I feel like a mental person, if you will. My thoughts are scattered. I can't think straight. When somebody asks me a question, I'm not really even listening to what they're asking me, and it makes life a lot more difficult. Your emotions are much more difficult to control, and I have less of a grasp on them. Now, when you combine that with anxiety, my head feels like it's going to pop off, and my heart feels like it's going to explode. And that's pretty much the most visual way I can describe this. And I will be completely honest with you guys, there are times where I have canceled clients and I have stopped working and I have hid in my bed in the dark and done nothing for days. And there are times where I've said to myself, get your shit together, resume your life. This is not going to get easier by doing this. Whatever place you are at during this, you are allowed to be there. Take the time. All I'm saying is, don't allow yourself to be in that dark place and that lonely place for too long of a period of time. Reach out to your friends and family, talk to people, and know that you are absolutely not alone in going through this. Social media can be a great thing. I use it obviously as a tool for my business. This is social media. I'm talking to you guys. I wouldn't be able to talk to you guys if it wasn't for social media. So I don't want to just sit here and bash this, because there are so many great benefits to being able to communicate with you guys through video and through camera and through Facebook and so on. But your real relationships, your friends and your family, and the things that really, really matter, those are things that should come first. Those are things that you should prioritize. Those are relationships that you should, and I absolutely should, focus on growing and utilizing those people to be a resource for anything difficult that you may be going through. You have no idea what anybody else is going through, and sometimes just reaching out to a friend may actually make that friend feel better too. Maybe they have something that they're going through that they didn't want to talk to you about, and this opened a whole new can of worms. Who knows? All I'm saying is, be social in real life and understand that we all have difficult times and we all have dark times, and you're not alone in going through this. And I wanted to share this with you guys because I feel like I shared my story with you guys and how this whole fitness world came to be, and I feel like I left out a really important part, and this was it. And I don't want to talk too much personally about this because, like I said, it's just something that I have, it's something that I deal with, and it's something that makes my journey more difficult. Of course it does. But we all have those things, and I know that you guys all have, your demons and things that you're hiding in the back of your closet, and that is okay. I just feel that being honest and vulnerable and open about this is going to make it a lot easier for anybody watching this, and hopefully, if at least one person has a better day or feels like they're normal because they watch this and they're not the only person going through what they're going through, or reaches out to a friend or calls their mom instead of, posting a Facebook post because they watched this, and I feel that this video did that job. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this video, and that's the message that I wanted to get across to you guys. And I know that I seem super scatterbrained, but I didn't want to do this video in the first place, and I was really nervous to do this video, and like I said, because I felt like it made me very vulnerable. And I have given this advice to people so many times, and I don't know, it's a lot easier to give advice than it is to take it, but being vulnerable is what makes you human. Being vulnerable is what allows for growth. If you're constantly closed-minded and you're a tough guy 24/7 and you're that person who knows it all, you will never grow. You fall so you can get back up, not so you can stay down. And that's the way that I think about this. And yes, this month has been really, really difficult, but it has not kept me down. I have continued to get back up, and I hope that you guys will do the same if you are going through this, or if you're going through any difficult transitional period in your life. And I hope that this video, as all over the place as it is, I hope that it made some sort of impact on you, or in your life, and I hope that you take the time to ask your family and friends how they're doing, and I hope that you take the time to call your mom if you're still lucky enough to have one, and I hope that you consider being kinder and reaching out to people, because what people display on their social media isn't necessarily real. And even if it is real, it doesn't mean that they're not struggling. I know that sometimes I have these conversations with myself when I'm going through bad self-anxiety. Like, your life looks like a fucking fairy tale. You have a beautiful home and a husband and a family and all of this, and you have these 2 little fur balls and a job you love. Get your shit together. Life is not that bad. But it doesn't matter. When you are going through something like this, all that you see is dark and all that you see is bad, or scatterbrain, whichever route you're going. So, it doesn't matter how good somebody's life seems. It doesn't matter how good somebody's life is. Everybody is fighting their own battle. Everybody has things that you know nothing of. So please, guys, be kind to each other. We are all human. Be nice. Reach out. Send love to your family, your friends, and to strangers. And I hope that you found this video useful amongst me just sharing some very personal things with you. And if you did find it, please share it with your family and friends who you feel that might get some sort of benefit out of this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.